No! You must not eat that!
But I'm so hungry!
Rationing is the only way! I can't wait!
The ship hung silently in the upper atmosphere, a ghost in the clouds, a forgotten thought just beyond Earth's reach. Inside its sterile, metallic heart, I, Zarn, the last archivist of Xylos, huddled over the glowing codex. My 3 eyes, usually so steady, darted across the ancient, shimmering text. The words pulsed with a light of their own, warnings from a time long past. Famine, extinction, the Great Depletion. Our history was a long, sad story of struggle, and the codex was our most sacred scar. It told us that all life, everywhere, was a battle against scarcity. It specifically mentioned Earth, a planet of primitive beings locked in a desperate, daily fight for their next meal. I adjusted the main viewer, zooming in on the planet's lush, green surface. The prophecy foretold chaos, struggle, a species on the brink. I activated the ration protocols, a cold knot tightening in my primary stomach. The nutrient paste would now be dispensed at half its usual rate. We had to be cautious. We had to survive. My gaze fell upon the screen, and that's when I saw him. A human, moving through a dense forest. His name, according to the ship's initial scan, was Leo. He wasn't running. He wasn't panicked. He was strolling, a slight smile on his face, a gentle breeze rustling his hair. In one hand, he held a string of glistening fish, their scales catching the sunlight. In the other, a handful of deep purple berries. He looked content, peaceful, even. My processor's word, trying to reconcile the image on the screen with the dire warnings in the codex. The prophecies were the foundation of our culture, the bedrock of our survivalist philosophy. They had never been wrong. Yet, here was this human, Leo, effortlessly gathering a bounty that would feed him for days. He wasn't fighting for it. He was simply receiving it. He stopped by a clear flowing stream, washed the berries, and ate one. The look on his face was one of simple pleasure. I reread the chapter on Earth. The bipeds of the third planet exist in a state of perpetual want, it stated clearly. Their lives are a testament to the unforgiving nature of the cosmos. But Leo didn't look like he was in a state of perpetual want. He looked like he was in a state of perpetual abundance. A strange feeling, one I couldn't identify, crept over me. It wasn't fear, not exactly. It was confusion. Deep, unsettling confusion. Was the codex wrong? Or was there something about this human, about this planet, that our ancestors had completely misunderstood? The ship remained silent, but my mind was screaming with questions. The prophecy felt like a lie, and the serene human in the forest held a truth I was suddenly desperate to understand. Zarn paced back and forth inside the observation ship, the metallic floor humming softly beneath his feet. He clutched his food chart so tightly his 3-fingered hands began to shake. "This isn't right," he muttered, his voice a low thrum of anxiety. According to every projection, every biological model, the humans should be fighting for food. there should be scarcity, conflict, desperation. This is not normal. He jabbed a finger at the screen, displaying a live feed from the planet below. On Earth, a human named Leo was crouched by a gently flowing river. The sun dappled through the leaves of the tall trees, painting shifting patterns on the ground. He had just started a small, controlled fire, its smoke curling lazily into the afternoon air. With practiced ease, he was cleaning a fish he'd caught, his movements fluid and efficient. As he worked, he hummed a quiet, cheerful tune, a picture of absolute calm and contentment. There was no sign of distress, no frantic energy that Zarn's species associated with acquiring sustenance. Zarn leaned closer to the monitor, his large, dark eyes widening in disbelief. He ran a diagnostic scan, checking for any interference or data corruption. The results came back clear. This was real. No traps. No visible struggle. No fear, Zarn whispered, his voice filled with a mixture of awe and confusion. He watched as Leo skillfully placed the cleaned fish on a flat stone near the fire to cook. It was a simple, elegant solution to a complex problem. The human didn't seem to view this as survival. He viewed it as an afternoon activity. Leo then rummaged through a small pack he had beside him. He pulled out a worn-looking metal pan. Zarn's breath hitched, a dedicated cooking utensil for a single meal in the wilderness. The level of preparation was astounding, but what happened next sent a genuine shiver of fear through Zarn's lanky frame. Leo produced a small, sealed pouch. He tore it open and sprinkled a fine, white crystalline substance into the pan, along with some wild berries he'd gathered earlier. Zarn accessed the ship's atmospheric analyzer and cross-referenced the substance with Earth's chemical database. The result, C12H22011, sucrose, sugar. Zarn physically recoiled from the screen. He froze, his mind struggling to process the information. Is that dessert? He stammered to the empty bridge. An entirely non-essential, purely pleasure-based food item, prepared and consumed in a survival situation. The concept was so alien, so deeply unsettling, that a strange, primal fear began to bloom in Zarn's chest. What kind of terrifying apex predator species cooks sweets for themselves after a successful hunt? They weren't just surviving, they were enjoying it. They were having a picnic. He thought of his own people, the Zarnians. For them, every meal was a calculated risk, a desperate scramble for calories. Their entire civilization was built around the brutal logic of survival. But these humans, they had transcended that. They had turned the grim business of staying alive into an art form, a hobby, a source of joy. The hum of the song Leo was singing seemed to echo in the silent ship, a melody of casual dominance. Zarn slowly backed away from the monitor. He had come to observe a primitive species struggling on its home world. Instead, he found a planet of culinary masters who considered the wilderness their personal pantry and kitchen. For the first time in his long career as an observer, Zarn felt a profound sense of dread. The universe was far more complicated, and frankly, much scarier than he had ever imagined. In the endless expanse of the cosmos, Zarn, a seasoned Xylid observer, had seen it all. Or so he thought. He'd spent centuries cataloging the rise and fall of civilizations, documenting the survival struggles of countless species across 1,000 galaxies. His mission was simple: observe, record, and never interfere. But today, on a small, unassuming blue planet designated Earth, everything he knew was about to be turned upside down. His target was a single human male, specimen designation Leo, who had been stranded in a dense forest after a small aircraft malfunction. According to every Xylot predictive model, Leo should have been in a state of advanced distress by now. The survival algorithms were clear. After 72 hours, without advanced technology, a human's physiological and psychological state would degrade rapidly. They were predicted to be weak, desperate, and on the brink of collapse. Zarn adjusted the magnification on his cloaked observation drone, peering down from the canopy. Leo was not collapsing. In fact, he was whistling. Zarn watched, his 3 hearts beating a little faster, as Leo skillfully sharpened a stick with a piece of flint. With a flick of his wrist, he speared a glistening fish from a rushing stream. This was unexpected. The models had predicted a human would struggle for days to find a reliable food source. Leo had managed it in under an hour. With the fish secured, Zarn watched as Leo gathered wood, arranged it in a neat pile. And with a tool Zarn had never seen before, 2 sticks rubbed together with furious precision created fire. Fire, a primal, chaotic element, tamed with casual ease. Zarn quickly opened his survival scanner, a device calibrated over millennia to assess the vitals of any known life form. He pointed it at Leo. The screen flashed a confusing array of red and green lights. "This makes no sense," Zarn muttered into his recording log. "His stress levels are minimal. Energy output is stable. Humans should be weak by now." Down below, Leo had propped the fish over the crackling flames. A rich, savory aroma began to drift through the forest, a smell so enticing that even Zarn, who consumed nutrient paste for sustenance, felt a strange pang. Leo hummed a tune as he flipped the fish, ensuring it cooked evenly. He then sat down on a large, sun-warmed rock and, to Zarn's utter astonishment, pulled out a small, crudely carved wooden bowl. What could he possibly be doing now? He had secured a primary protein source. The next logical step, according to the Xylot Survival Codex, was to consume it immediately to replenish energy. But Leo wasn't eating. Instead, he wandered over to a nearby bush and began picking small, dark berries. He returned to his rock, took out a small pouch, and drizzled a thick, golden liquid over them. Honey. He had located a beehive, extracted honey, and was now preparing a side dish. Zarn gasped, his voice a choked whisper. He is cooking twice. A dual-course meal preparation in a post-catastrophe scenario. This was unheard of. It defied all logic, all data. Survival was about efficiency, about caloric intake versus energy expenditure. This was culinary arts. This was enjoyment. The scanner in Zarn's hand beeped again, demanding his attention. He looked down at the updated reading. Humanstatus.com. Zarn, the designated observer for Sector 7G, slammed his galactic survival guide shut with a frustrated thud. The sound echoed silently in the sterile environment of his observation pod, a stark contrast to the crackling fire on the holographic display before him. On the screen, a single human, designated subject Leo, was systematically dismantling every core principle Zarn had ever known. But subject Leo, sitting comfortably by a blazing fire in the middle of a dense, unknown forest, seemed entirely devoid of this fundamental instinct. He had just finished eating a fish he'd caught with a rudimentary spear. Instead of devouring it quickly, alert for predators, as any sane creature would, Leo had eaten it slowly, methodically. He had even closed his eyes at one point, a blissful smile gracing his lips as if he were savoring a delicacy in the safest establishment in the cosmos. Zarn had run a dozen scans. The forest was teeming with nocturnal predators, any one of which could have ended the human in an instant. Yet, Leo showed no sign of anxiety. Zarn watched, his own triple-lidded eyes wide, as Leo produced a small handful of vibrant red berries from a pouch. The observer's internal bioscanner immediately flagged them as unknown, potentially toxic. According to protocol, any unknown flora should be avoided at all costs. It was basic survival. Leo, however, popped one into his mouth. He didn't just taste it, he experienced it. He chewed thoughtfully, nodded in what could only be described as pure joy, and then proceeded to eat the rest, one by one, like a child enjoying candy. A tremor ran through Zarn's appendages. His own heart sacs began to pulse erratically. This wasn't just recklessness, it was something else entirely. It was enjoyment. The human wasn't just surviving, he was living. He was finding pleasure in the very things that should have filled him with terror. The warmth of the fire, the taste of freshly cooked food, the sweet burst of a wild berry, these weren't just fuel for survival, they were sources of delight. If humans can find enjoyment in the face of imminent danger, Zarn thought, a cold wave of realization washing over him, then what does that mean for our models? What does that mean for our understanding of life? All the complex algorithms, the meticulous rationing plans, the strategies based on fear and resource management, they were all rendered meaningless by this one, smiling human. If a species didn't fear scarcity or danger, how could they be predicted? How could they be controlled? The very concept was so alien, so profoundly illogical, it threatened to unravel Zarn's entire worldview. He leaned closer to the screen, trying to decipher the enigma that was Leo. Was this a display of dominance? A sign of insanity? Or something far more advanced? Suddenly, in the midst of Zarn's existential crisis, Leo stopped chewing. He tilted his head back and looked directly up at the dark star-filled sky. His gaze seemed to pierce through the canopy, through the atmosphere, straight into the hidden lens of Zarn's observation pod millions of miles away. And then, he waved, a slow, casual wave, accompanied by that same serene smile. Zarn froze. Every one of his systems went into emergency Have you ever wondered what would happen if aliens finally made contact with us? Would it be a scene of chaos and destruction, like in the movies? Or could it be something different? Imagine this. A sleek, otherworldly ship hangs silently in the sky. Its occupant, Zarn, looking down at a lone human figure. Zarn is terrified. His entire life has been governed by one rule, etched into the pages of his species' survival manual: fear everything, trust nothing. This manual is his Bible, the key to staying alive in a hostile universe. Down below, the human Leo isn't running or screaming. He's calmly fishing by a quiet lake, a small campfire crackling beside him. Zarn watches, his heart pounding a frantic rhythm against his ribs. The human is so exposed, so vulnerable. Why isn't he hiding? Why isn't he armed to the teeth? Leo glances up, not with aggression, but with a gentle curiosity. He raises his voice, but it's not a shout of alarm. It's a soft, inviting call. "Come on down," Leo says, a warm smile playing on his lips. "There's more than enough food for both of us." Zarn is stunned into silence. This goes against everything he's ever been taught. His manual screams trap, but his senses tell him something else. The human's posture is relaxed. His voice is genuine. Could it be real? Driven by a strange mix of desperation and intrigue, Zarn decides to take the biggest risk of his life. The alien ship descends with a low hum, settling onto the soft grass near the lake. The hatch hisses open, and Zarn steps out, his body trembling uncontrollably. He keeps one hand near his weapon, his eyes darting around, searching for the hidden threat he's sure is waiting. He looks at Leo, who is now casually grilling a fish over the fire. The aroma is intoxicating, a scent Zarn has never experienced. You are not afraid of me." Zarn manages to stammer out, his voice shaking. Leo lets out a hearty laugh, a sound that echoes warmly in the peaceful clearing. It's not a laugh of mockery, but one of pure, simple joy. "Afraid? Why should I be?" Leo replies, gesturing to the world around them. "Look, the lake gives us fish. The forest gives us wood for fire. Food is everywhere. if you just learn where to look and how to get it. He skillfully flips the fish, its skin perfectly crisp. He then pulls a small container from his bag, revealing a slice of homemade pie. He gestures for Zarn to join him. You don't survive by being scared all the time, Leo continues, his tone wise and kind. You survive by being calm, using your skills, and sharing what you have. He hands a piece of the perfectly cooked fish to the trembling alien. Zarn hesitates for a moment, then takes it. The taste is a revelation. It's delicious, comforting. Then Leo offers him a forkful of the dessert. Sweetness floods Zarn's senses, a sensation so foreign and wonderful that a smile, the very first smile of his entire life, breaks across his face. In that instant, something profound shifts within him. He thinks of his survival manual, the book that had been his constant, fear-mongering companion. In his mind's eye, he sees its pages turn brittle, curling at the edges, and dissolving into nothing but dust. The sweet truth was so much simpler, and so much better. Zarn learned that day that the greatest strength of humanity wasn't their weapons or their defenses. It was their ability to find peace, to master their world, not with brute force, but with knowledge, and most importantly, to open their hearts and share with a stranger. Perhaps that's... Have you ever wondered what would happen if we finally met aliens? Would it be a scene straight out of an epic sci-fi blockbuster, with laser beams and intergalactic warfare? Or could it be something simpler, something more profound? Today, we're diving into a story that reimagines that first contact, not as a clash of civilizations, but as a quiet lesson in what it truly means to be alive. Imagine this. An advanced alien scout, Zarn, lands on Earth. His mission is simple: observe and assess the dominant species, humans. From his high-tech vessel, he sees chaos. He sees competition, struggle, and what looks like a primitive, disjointed society. His initial report is ready. Humans are a fractured species, not a threat, easily conquered. But then, something happens that his advanced scanners and cold logic couldn't predict. He meets Leo. Leo isn't a scientist or a general. He's just a person, living a simple life, surviving not through advanced technology, but through ancient knowledge. He sees Zarn's ship, not with fear, but with curiosity. And when Zarn finally reveals himself, armed with the might of a star-faring empire, Leo does something completely unexpected. He smiles and offers to share his lunch. This simple act of kindness shatters Zarn's entire understanding of the universe. He's confused. His people's philosophy is built on individual strength, technological superiority, and the cold, hard logic of survival of the fittest. Sharing resources is a sign of weakness. Yet, here is this human, offering his meager food to a potential enemy. Zarn decides he must understand this illogical behavior. He powers down his ship, a gesture of trust that feels alien to him in more ways than one. For the first time, he steps out not as an observer, but as a student. He sits on the ground, mimicking Leo, feeling the texture of the soil and grass beneath his fingers, sensations his sterile ship could never replicate. Leo becomes his teacher. He doesn't lecture Zarn on astrophysics or quantum mechanics. Instead, he shows him how to cast a fishing line into a glistening stream, teaching him the patience of waiting for a bite. He guides Zarn through the forest, pointing out which berries are sweet and safe to eat, and which to avoid. He shows him how to build a small fire, not as a weapon, but as a source of warmth and a tool for cooking. The aroma of food sizzling over the flames is a completely new and intoxicating experience for Zarn, who has only ever known tasteless nutrient paste. And then, something incredible happens. As Leo tells a funny story about a clumsy bear, Zarn laughs. It's a strange, foreign sound bubbling up from his chest, a purely emotional reaction he's never experienced before. His species doesn't have a concept for laughter. There is only efficiency and purpose. But this feels good. It feels connecting. In that moment, the universe, which had always seemed like a vast, cold, and dangerous void, suddenly feels a little less scary, a little warmer. As days turn into nights, Zarn learns the human secret that his scanners could never detect. It's not about individual strength. It's about community. It's about sharing, helping, and relying on each other. He sees how people in a nearby village trade goods, help build each other's homes, and care for their sick. This weakness, he first observed, was actually their greatest strength, their ability to survive together. That night, under a canopy of stars that now seem brighter and more full of wonder, Zarn returns to his ship. He looks at his reflection, but sees someone different from the cold scout who first arrived. He deletes his old report. He opens a new communication channel to his home world, his fingers moving with a newfound purpose. His message is short, but it carries the weight of a transformed galaxy. Do not fear humans, he transmits. Do not underestimate them. Their power is not in their weapons or their technology. They survive together, and somewhere, across the silent, dark expanse of space, a new story began. A story not of conquest, but of connection. A story that reminds us that sometimes, the most important lessons aren't found in textbooks or on data screens, but in the simple act of sharing a meal, a story, and a laugh. What do you think? Could kindness truly be our greatest universal language? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this